Hello, dear students. Now, what is the topic today we are going to study? We are going to study the topic on migration, and it is about migration in international relations. The topic is very popular. You know that the migration is an international crisis or a problem in international security. Okay, so what do you mean by migration, or what is the definition of migration? Migration means when a huge group of people or an individual or like a small group, they move from one place to another. Migration can be both legally and illegally. Okay, so here we are categorizing migration into two types. Type 1, we can see that migration is named as internal migration. Okay, and in type 2 we can see migration as external migration. So what is inside internal migration? Internal migration happens within a state. Suppose it is India, so basically whoever is moving within India or within the Indian state, so they will be known as internal migrants. So migration due to internal factors can be seen as migration due to educational opportunities. Now we know that like the rural places, they don't have better schools, better colleges. So what does the youth do? The children moves from the rural to the urban areas. Rural means from the villages to the town or the cities. Okay, rural to urban. So in order to search for educational opportunities, they are moving from rural to urban, and that is within a particular state, within a particular country. So that is another one factor of internal migration. Now let's look into another factor of internal migration. The second factor, what is seen here in the slide, is more often we know that migration for employment opportunities. Employment opportunities, like the students who are moving from you know like the rural to the urban areas, see, in the same way, the peoples who are not finding jobs in the rural sector, what they will go, where they will go, they will go to the urban areas, the cities. Okay, and what they will do, they will find their employment opportunities over there. Suppose there are various types of like job opportunities. Many companies, like many farms and institutions are there in city, so they provide better employment horizon. So while defining migration in terms of employment opportunity, the people flows from, yes, flocks from rural to the urban areas. Okay, but it also happens sometimes that from urban areas to people means move to the rural areas if it is a government service, or like they are into some plan based service and all. Okay, so what is the third factor of internal migration? The third factor of internal migration means migration due to militant threats. Suppose you are living in a particular area, the area is marked by militants. Okay, like militants are creating problem, they are asking for money, they are asking for they're threatening the people that they will kill them and do this kind of thing. So basically, whenever people feel insecure of this particular threats, they do what? They move from one area to another so that they can find security, and it is done within the state only. Okay, so this is another most important reason of internal migration. Now let's look into the other slide, that is migration due to natural calamities. Before some days, I think before a year, we have seen like like the storms like Amphan, Feni, how this like sea-based storms have wrecked the shores of Digha. Then we can see that in Bengal, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so basically we have seen like how flood like situation in Assam and various other parts in India are affecting various peoples and the locality and the region. So what the people do is, whenever the place is being flooded, they are forced to move from one place to another. So when they are moving in a particular state, as I am talking about internal migration, so this is known as internal because it is happening within the state. So mark my word. So internal migration happens within a state, not outside of it. Okay. So it may be flood, it may be earthquake, it may be any kind of natural calamities which are responsible for movement of people from one location to another. Okay. So what is our next slide? The next slide is the second category, that is the external migration. Okay, so external migration means whenever suppose you have a very big ambition or like you have a dream to travel Switzerland. Okay, so Switzerland, how you need to travel Switzerland? You need to have a passport, you need to have a visa. Okay, so whenever you have a passport, you have a visa, that means you are seeking the permission of our state so that the state let you to have your dreams fulfilled so that you can go visit the other country, but it is done through a legal procedure. Means your all documentations will be collected. They will check the documents, whatever is there, any travel history, and how you have performed in your international travels earlier. So everything on the basis of that only you will be boarded to an interview, and from that only you need to clear the immigration, and then you will be allowed access to enter that particular state or territory. Okay, so basically external migration means when one particular people or a community moves from one particular location to another. So what we can see in external migration, we can see like people are moving from one country to another. Okay, but this is means in the very first we are locating migration legally. Now we have to see the next slide, that is migration means, migrations are both legal and extra legal, or illegal. Extra legal means illegal. Why we are talking about, why we are questioning the legality of migration? Like those who are taking or carrying the documents, that is fine, that is well accepted. But in case, like, citizens or peoples who are member of one state, they flee from one state to another. Why they flee? Why they run out away? Why they go moves to other state? First of all, there are various factors, like, means whenever a state is at war with another. Okay, I'm talking about 1971 war, when, like Bangladesh was carved out of Pakistan. So huge number of means Bangladeshi citizens, they have left Bangladesh and they have came to the they have entered into the Indian territory. Okay, these people were not able to carry any documents because the zone was basically a war zone. So obviously in war, what can you expect? Okay, so there was all kind of human right violations. Like people were afraid of bombing. Like, like if a um, chopper drops a bomb, like they were afraid of the army or the military, so they flee out from that particular place in order to seek shelter into a protected zone. Okay, so this has happened, we have seen. Now we have seen what is the term we use for refugee. What does refugee mean? Refugee means when a group of people move from one place to another without seeking any permission of the state. Rather, they are moving illegally. Okay, they don't have any consent of the state, neither they hold any proper documentation, nor they have any kind of, like permanent position, like they will be here, they'll be there. So migration has becoming a threat factor for various states, because we have seen the Rohingya refugees. Who are the Rohingyas? Rohingyas are those basically who have come out of the Syria. As we know, the Syria is a failed state now. Failed state means like the government is not functional because there is an existence of what? There is an existence of militant problem in Syria. Okay, so what is the need of understanding? Like, so whenever the Syrian refugees were out, what has happened? They were out just to, make a safe havens, okay, for themselves, because they do not know like what would be their future. Okay, so they were seeking help from various states. Okay, but the many states like Philippines and like Myanmar and all, they have given them like shelter. But this refugee problem has been a very big problem, and it has also been a economic threat. Why economic threat? Because whenever the refugee moves from one place to another in a large number, they are also affecting, they are also affecting what? the livelihood of other people. Suppose a particular population was basically cart puller or rickshaw puller. So what they used to do, their life is to be dependent on that particular profession. So whenever this refugee comes, they will come in a bulk number and they will start joining into this. So as a result, they will have fewer customers and fewer profit. So basically, this is by this way, refugee has been treated as threat factor, and many states have, like they have not accepted the refugees. So what is the term that India uses for the refugee? India never calls any particular person who comes from outsider as refugee. So what is the term do they use? So they use the term as infiltrator. What is that infiltrator? Infiltrator means basically the people who are coming from outside. Okay, so that is the thing you need to know. So I think this is the clear example or clear understanding which you have already received. Okay, so refugees, then we have crossed about like infiltrator, the term which India uses. These are the questions you will be getting in your civil service examination, one who are preparing for UGC net and one who are preparing for various other competitive exams. So let me summarize the topic. So migration means when a huge number of people or an individual moves from one place to another. So migration can be divided into two basically types. One is internal migration, means you are moving from one country, means within a particular country. Okay, means not crossing the border. And then we are having external migration, means you are crossing the border, you are moving from your country to another country. So that is external migration. Then I have given you the causes of internal migration and what are the causes of external migrations. So let me wind up the video. So if you like the video, kindly give a like, share my video and subscribe. Thank you.